Previously on Love Where You Live with Mint Construction. I'm Matt. This is our client for this kitchen remodel, Dan, and the decorator that helped pull this whole thing together, Crystal Ortiz.
This kitchen was not useful. As a cook, it wasn't efficient. It didn't look right, didn't work right.
The original kitchen, even though it's a good-sized kitchen, was really boxed in, partially just from a wall being built where it didn't really need to be.
The goal was to give them this gorgeous custom kitchen that will function for their family and upgrade him to a gas stove and a better island and overall space layout.
This has been 14 years in the making.
And we're done. We've completed the kitchen and we've handed it off to Dan. Dan, tell us about the kitchen you got now.
It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's the best kitchen under the sun. Anyone who sees it, they're just flabbergasted. It's absolutely beautiful, and it works. It works really well.
Came together really great.
It went to plan. I mean, everything didn't go according to plan, but rarely does, but it finished up according to plan. It was amazing. And any changes we made, which I can't remember many, they look amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
What's your favorite part in the kitchen?
The stove, the gas top. The gas top is by far the hood. That wall right there is my wall. Yeah. That's my space, that's Dan's zone. I appreciate that a lot more. So this right here is where you work, because your trash is right here. I got a stove, I got stuff I use on a daily, but everything's right here. Whereas before, I had to go all over the kitchen to do things.
Yeah, you know, I remember in the previous video we were talking about this niche a bit and how we framed it in and made it work, and I was curious if it was going to be more decorative or useful. I see you got the cooking oils on there.
I confess, I thought it was going to be decorative.
Yeah.
It's not. It's useful.
Cool. Very cool.
I know. Imagine that. It varies as to what goes on there. The Chanel No. 5 bottle of oil is still there. I like that.
I love that bottle. Come on now. I love that.
But yeah, it doesn't get coated with grease like I thought it would. The hood works amazingly well. And that's been a game changer when cooking. I've cooked inside with cast iron now every week, multiple times. And I couldn't do that before because of smokes. And it would smoke up the kitchen. Now it just goes right up the hood and it's beautiful. Yeah, I'm happy. This is awesome. And the island. Teresa likes the island.
I love the island. The island turned out gorgeous. And we really did get to maximize by pushing that wall back like we had talked about before. Taking this as far as humanly possible within the space. I love this island. I love the slab of granite that you guys chose for this. And sometimes when you move across it, you see a little sparkle. And you know, I like sparkle.
The sizes worked well, and the shelves. So when you step down to it, what's next is those open shelves. Like those paid off. And they were easy to install. They were the easiest part of the kitchen to do. That was the most amazing thing.
Not easy, but yeah, they're nice solid maple shelves. They kind of have this live edge front on them. And then we took and routed LED lights into the bottom of them.
Yes, to get lights in each of those is not always a thing you see. So.
But it's nice at night when you can turn these lights off and just sit, and it has a nice glow in the kitchen. Everything's illuminated. But the part I like is when I'm cooking and I want to get plates, I just go like this. Yeah. And I have a plate and I'm done. And then I put it back. I'm not going to a cabinet. I'm not going anywhere else. I have everything where I want it.
Yeah.
And morning coffee is right there. It's easy.
So I know one of the big things that we talked about as well was how small the previous kitchen felt. We were all really excited to open up this wall over here. I remember we had a bit of a challenge where we removed the wall and the floor on each side of it kind of didn't line up anymore, and we had to go through and conceal that. But the kitchen is definitely much larger now that the wall's open. There was actually a point where, you know, we're sitting and looking at drawings and planning like this island out. I remember we talked a lot about the dimensions that might be over here. Would it feel pinched or tight or anything? And I'm absolutely amazed at how big the kitchen feels, just having that wall out. And even with this huge island here, there's tons of space to walk around it on both sides.
It's a lot of space, and
squeezed every square inch out of this kitchen that could be squeezed. Taking the cabinetry to the ceiling, which is a huge deal to me personally as a designer. I want the cabinets to the ceiling. And you know, you might have to get a stepladder to get that thing you need once a year, but it makes so much sense for storage to not have your crock pot sitting in that open shelf space above cabinets that didn't go all the way up.
True, and it's cleaner too.
Yes.
Much cleaner. Yeah.
Well, Crystal, you designed the kitchen. I'm curious, what is your favorite part? Do you have a favorite in it?
I love this wall. I do. This wall is amazing. Everyone thought I was insane when I said, let's paint the wall black. And I showed Dan and Teresa 3D renderings of what it would look like, and they loved it. And even their friends who thought, oh, it's just gonna look like a chalkboard, walked in and said, okay, yeah, maybe it's not exactly a chalkboard. And black doesn't work in every single room, but for this kitchen, because it was small doses, it's just, I'm biased, but I think it's gorgeous and it worked out perfectly and really makes everything else come to life in front of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, I thought the kitchen selections overall, like the color of the cabinets and the countertops, can be a little bit more traditional. I thought black might clash with that as like really modern or dramatic, but I think it does a great job of just, it's almost like the wall disappears behind it and you just focus on the shelves and the things on the shelves.
Yes.
The balance is beautiful. When you first said black, I looked at my wife and I said, she's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work, it's gonna be horrible.
First time I've heard that.
And then the black one, and then we saw the renderings, and that was okay. And then after the painting got done, once the tile was up, the painting, the cabinets, and the contrast is amazing.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about paint colors, I will mention that we had some doubts about baby bok choy in the dining room as well.
Still have doubts about baby bok choy. Yeah. But it works.
It works so well. And that was one of those things, I threw some neutrals at her and then I threw something that looked really good with the fabric. We were reupholstering the dining chairs that belonged to her parents, and I loved it. And she FaceTimed me later that night, baby bok choy for the win, you know, so I love the dining room. So, and that was just kind of an add-on, like, well, you know, we're doing this, we don't want to leave that hanging. So
yeah, it was a good move. I like when people make more bold choices, like the colors and, you know, black on the walls, baby bok choy, all that kind of stuff. Life is short. I feel like you gotta do something exciting and enjoy yourself.
Embrace the baby bok choy in your life.
No one who has come in here has been able to tell where we had to add wood and where Chris had jigsawed it together because the other island had taken away the floor. Yeah. Right. So, you know, to piecemeal these things together, the extra time to do that, you're hard pressed to see where he did it, which is amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, you would have to know what you're looking for and be looking for it.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I was just looking at the floor over here where I know we had to work through some weirdness and try to figure out how to make it look original, and it's hard for me to even find the stuff. So it doesn't catch your eye at all. I still look at it and I'm like, wait, okay, which boards are ours and which ones are the originals?
Well, it's kind of hard because the wall, took up, if I may, the wall came to right about here. This is about where it was. So all this space opened up and there was no floor below it. Yeah. That all had to be piecemealed. Yeah. The beam had to be moved. You can't even tell this is not original. That's the best part about this. You have no idea that this is all opened up. We thought we were gonna have to cut off a corner on this, remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't need to.
I was so glad when we didn't have to do that.
Not in the least.
It was an option, but.
This is the third. I've already had top two. Yeah. Okay, this is maybe number 3, because this opens up the entire floor. It's great.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the other things that was kind of in our scope here, kitchen remodels are rarely only kitchen. You know, the floor is extended out. We talked about the dining room a little bit. But we changed out the back door because you have this really awesome screened porch back there. So instead of a slider, now you have a double hinge door that opens out. And it just makes this whole place feel even larger. It's an indoor, outdoor space kind of all together. The weather's really nice today. You got it open, air's flowing, you can hear the wind chimes. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm. And no bugs because of the screened in porch.
Yeah. I love that. But Dan had put something on our co-op Pinterest board of kind of a shot looking out toward the doors, and he's like, I want this. And we obviously didn't copy that exactly, but the look and feel are there.
Yeah. So. Very cool.
Came out this morning and Teresa had the doors open and the drapes open, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful walking it downstairs. All right, well, so you asked me top, like I can't give you a top number one. I did, my range top, right? But the fact that we had a pantry right here that took up all this space, right?
Like a 6-foot closet.
And yeah, it was useless because it had that wall right there that had a phone jack on it. That was it. The wall that came to here had a phone jack. That was the only purpose. The pantry was in here. These ovens were over there, which now gave us space over there. Gave us a space for a wine fridge. It gives us an area to put anything, really. I mean, it has opened us up to be able to actually utilize this side of the kitchen, which we didn't have before. And it didn't come out any farther. In fact, it's farther back. The depth is less than what the pantry was.
Yeah.
It's useful. So our pantry is now in there, and everything fits.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Those pantry cabinets are amazing how much they will hold.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things in the kitchen when we were doing it that parts of your design were challenging to execute. The shelves were challenging to execute. I'm super happy with how they turned out, and I would absolutely do them again. But they were definitely a little bit more work than I expected.
But that's the reason I call you when I've got a project and a client. I trust Mint to do the work to the level that, and just kind of trust me when I say, Matt, I want to do live edge, floating shelves in a kitchen and lots of them.
Well, there's certain things, as a contractor, I think very practically. If somebody wants something, I'm like, okay, well that's gonna be kind of difficult, that might be kind of expensive. Sometimes we need somebody that's on the creative side that's just saying, hey, look, this would turn out great, and you figure out how to do it. You know, so the backsplash is also part of it. Most of the kitchens you see, the backsplash is basically one tile, or maybe one tile and a focal point behind the range or something like that. We've got one type of tile over here in the bar area turned diagonal, which that was lots of fun to install.
Lots of outlets.
With lots of outlets in it. And then over here we have, you know, the 3x6 subway tile at the bottom, and then the 6x6, and then the pencil, and then this random width mosaic, and a different mosaic in the back of the niche. And it was definitely more involved, but it has come together looking amazing. So I'm glad to have people around that want to push the envelope a little bit. Dan, thanks for having us do your kitchen. It's a pleasure to have worked with you and to be standing in here and see this. Crystal, thanks so much for working with us and designing this. It looks amazing. You did a great job putting everything together. I hope you enjoyed a lot.
I am.
And I'd be happy to work with you on another project.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. You guys did a bang-up job. Amazing.
I'm not sure how I'll ever top this one, just to be honest.
Thanks for joining us on Love Where You Live with Mint Construction.